Champions Mojo is part of the CG Sports Network.
Welcome to Champions Mojo, a podcast to bring out your inner champion. Your hosts are sisters-in-law Kelly Pallas and Maria Parker. Kelly is a former Division I head swim coach, Olympic trials qualifier, and holds national and world records in masters swimming. Maria holds world records in endurance cycling and won the world's toughest bike race, Race Across America. Both are certified health and life coaches. Our goal is to inspire you through conversations with champions. And now, your host, Kelly Pallas.
Hello, friends. Welcome to the Champions Mojo podcast. And as usual, I am co-hosting with Maria Parker. Hey, Maria.
Hi, Kelly.
Before we tell you a little bit about our guest, Coleman Stewart, today, let's welcome him to the show as he sits there. Hey, welcome, Coleman.
Welcome, Coleman. We're so excited to be talking to you today.
Thanks for having me on. I'm excited to be here.
Great. I like that shirt. Hey. All right, Maria, you know I'm excited to welcome a champion that is on such an upward trajectory that we want to hear some of his secrets. It's none other than superstar backstroker Coleman Stewart. Coleman is fresh off completing an awesome first year as a pro swimmer in the International Swimming League and being part of the overall championship team, the Cali Condors. Another team that Coleman has helped build into a powerhouse is his alma mater, NC State University, where for the Wolfpack, he earned 2 NCAA titles, one in his own event, the 100 backstroke, and he earned 22 All-American honors and was a 13-time ACC champion. So as an NC State alum swimmer myself, I'm a little bit of a fangirl here. Maria, what else can you tell us about Coleman?
Sure, Kelly. As you said, Coleman just keeps getting faster and faster. At an early December invitational meet, he swam the second all-time fastest 100-yard backstroke. That is, he was the second fastest performer at the 100-yard backstroke in history. He's behind Ryan Murphy, who is an Olympic champion and a world record holder. As you mentioned, he made the most of his first year as a pro swimmer, earning a nice payout from his ISL swimming. So we're really looking forward to talking with Coleman about what an exciting last 6 weeks he's had in ISL, his recent history-making swim, and see if we can learn something from this champion. So let's get to it.
Yes, let's welcome Coleman again to the show. Coleman, it's just great to have you here.
It sure is.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Like I said, I'm excited to be here.
Great. So Coleman, before we get into the questions, I've got to tell you the little story of how I actually kind of got tuned into Coleman Stewart. As a NC State alum, I think you might have been a freshman, definitely not past your sophomore year, but I went to the UVA NC State dual meet at UVA. So I drove in there. I was visiting my dad in Richmond, and I thought, oh, hey, I'm close to my Wolfpack. I'm going to go watch the meet there. And you had not really done a whole lot to grab attention. In fact, I think Stuart Hennessy was there, and at that time, wasn't he? And he was kind of the premier backstroker for NC State before you. And so I was sitting there, and I happened to be sitting next to your dad. So your dad came to that meet.
One of your biggest fans.
And so I just we were like one of the few NC Staters in the stands because it was an away meet. And, I think I'm wearing an NC State shirt, and your dad might've been too, but we connected, and I said, oh, who is your son? And he said, it's Coleman Stewart. And I'm sorry, but I was like, who? It was kind of like, I didn't say who, but he said, oh, and it was like at that moment you were swimming. And he goes, yeah, he's right there. He's swimming the 200 back. And I looked up, or maybe it was the 100, whatever it was, one of your events, but it was definitely a backstroke. And I remember just totally focusing in on your swim and seeing your underwaters and thinking, I got to remember this guy's name. And my background as a D1 coach and a total student of swimming for the last, 40 years. I have just had my head in swimming, and I am very tuned in to up and comers. And I said to myself, I got to make a note of this guy's name. And sure enough, okay, this is what's happened. I could have predicted it as, a coach and somebody watching. So my first question for you and one that my husband, literally, I came in to record, and my husband said, make sure you ask Coleman about his underwaters. So I think you probably have been asked this before, but I think anybody who's ever watched you swim, you have, to me, the best underwaters of anybody I've ever seen. And we'd like to know, from my husband wants to know, and I'm sure if my husband wants to know, many, many other people want to know. Tell us about your underwaters.
Well, thank you for all the kind words. And that's a really funny story about my dad, actually. He has missed very few meets. Both my parents have missed very few meets, and I'm really lucky to have them as a support system. But yeah, on the underwaters, I really just have to give it all to Braden and the training style that we do. I mean, it's just so focused on underwater driven swimmers like myself, and a handful of guys who have come before me and after me. They're all the training is really, really centered around underwater swimming. So Braden just really knows how to get the most out of those 15 meters at a time.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. So if somebody's listening, like a young kid on their way to swim practice, or a master swimmer like me, what would you say would be a couple of things that they could do in their underwaters that would make them better, that you do? Like when your mind is underwater and you're out of breath, what are you doing?
I really just try to think about making sure the technique is correct, and like pressing with the chest first, and then the rest of the body kind of follows like a whip after that. Because it's an underwater kick, everyone thinks it's mainly leg driven, which legs obviously play a huge part, but the movement starts and initiates with the core and the chest, and then, like I said, the rest of the body just kind of follows. So that's kind of the biggest thing that I think about, especially going into the last turn of 100 back, like knowing my legs are going to die. I just try to really think about focusing on the chest and the core, and then worry about the legs when we get there.
Oh, that's
great advice.
Oh
So
my gosh.
your legs are following, and you just think about pushing your chest up and out. Wonderful.
I love it. Okay, that's exactly what I wanted to go to. So
that was a good technical question.
Yes. So before we get to this fantastic 100 back that you just went 43.6, holy goodness, that is fast. Tell us about the ISL bubble and what it was like, and the Cali Condors winning. Just give us some update on that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was one of the most fun times I've had around swimming. Being around all those huge names like Caleb Dressel, Kelsey Dahlia, Lily King, like all the Olympians that we had on our team, American and from the other countries that were very well represented. It was just really eye-opening. I learned a lot. Everyone was so nice, willing to like help teach and help guide all the rookies who were there.
What did you need help with?
Definitely learning how to swim short course meters, because it's a lot different than long course meters and a lot different than short course yards. So Caleb was definitely one of the biggest guys to just kind of like, especially behind the blocks in the ready room, he was just super goofy, which I really like. I'm not a serious person, so he was just kind of like cracking jokes when we were getting ready for the relays and stuff. That was super nice. Olivia Smoliga was always there to help anyone. She helped, or she asked me a few questions about underwaters, which was really cool to have her, because she's known for her underwaters, come up and ask me something. Yeah, I mean, overall it was a really, really long 6 weeks to be away from home for that long. Racing 6 times in 6 weeks was really, really tough. My body is hurting a little bit, but it's definitely worth it. Yeah, I think the Condors, we obviously came away with the win. That was our goal the whole time. We definitely wanted to win the whole thing, win every meet, and then just kind of go from there. And I think we did it through the cohesion of the team. It was really, really natural and organic. We never really had to have any team meetings where we had to do icebreakers or anything. Everybody just clicked and got along really well. So yeah, I mean, it was just a lot of fun, and I'm so glad I was able to be a part of it. And yeah.
Can you tell us one story that sort of sticks out in your mind, either during a meet or sometime back at the hotel, or something that was just like you thought, oh man, this is so great?
I mean, there's so many, and being there for 6 weeks, it's hard to pin down just one, but I think after before the final session, or the final meet, sorry, Jason, our general manager, Jason Lezak, who, everyone in the sport of swimming knows who he is. Growing up, I just was dying to meet him, and when he finally gave me the call to be on the team, it was just, I mean, just to get a call from Jason Lezak was really, really cool. But right before the final meet, he was giving us a little pump up speech, which he doesn't normally do. It was a little out of character for him, but he was just going through his story, and just to hear that was really, really cool. And to be a part of his team, his little project of making the Cali Condors into a championship team was really, really cool, and something I'll forever be grateful for.
That's great. And so after 6 weeks, are these your brothers and sisters now, these fellow swimmers?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we were always there for each other. If you had a bad swim, you had a good swim. Caleb, before the first meet, it was that he coined well, he didn't coin the phrase, but he said there ain't no crying in swimming. So everyone's just kind of good swimmer, bad swim. He's told us you have 3 minutes to get over it, and I think that helped the team a lot too.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So, what are your thoughts on something that the ISL could do to improve the whole league?
I think they did a great job, especially this year, considering the whole pandemic, and just getting everybody there was, a huge headache for them, I'm sure. But yeah, I mean, I think one thing that they could do better is really just getting the payments on time. But that's, it's not really that big of a deal, because they still have, they make the payments and everything for the swimmers and the athletes. So that's just a little tiny thing that I think they could do better. But
spoken like a hungry man.
Yeah, no, I think
I gotta eat. Hey.
Yeah. I think that's really honest, and I think that's great feedback. And we all want to be paid for the work that we're doing, and absolutely. So that's a great answer, because
what's it like? Yeah, so go ahead.
Yeah,
Kelly.
because you're now a pro swimmer, and you should be paid when you're a pro. And I'm sure when the baseball, basketball, and football players win their championship, their payment is coming. So yeah, I know they're doing a great job, and I'm sure they won't interpret that any other way than just, hey, this is something that you want to see the league get better in. So what is it like, Coleman, to now be a pro swimmer? What does that kind of feel like and look like, and something you're excited about that in the future?
It was a little bit different, because usually our pro team trains with the, in conjunction, sorry, with the college team. But obviously with the pandemic, we weren't able to do that for the entire summer. So, and leading into the fall and leading into the ISL. So we were able to find a little bit of pool space in a local pool. So thank you to RSA, Raleigh Swimming Association, for giving us the pool time. So that was a little bit different. I wasn't able to swim with most of the guys that I had swum with before. So, it was, I think there were 10 of us with a handful of coaches. So the attention to detail was a lot more focused on us, which was good. But other than that, I mean, I still want to compete for, NC State, even though I'm not directly affiliated with them anymore. But, they'll always have, a huge part of me, and I hope that I can just keep bringing a good name to NC State. And the PBG and the diamond and everything that this team swims for, and just the school in general. So although I am competing, for as a pro, just for myself, I think there's still a lot more behind the scenes. So, every day in training, I'm still thinking about, am I making NC State proud? Am I making the alumni proud? And just trying to really build a name for NC State as a college and our Wolfpack Elite pro team now.
Well, I have to jump in here on this one, because there's no doubt you're obviously doing that, and not just for the men's team, but tell us about your relationship and or mentorship of Catherine Burkhoff, who just swam in the same meet with you. You go you're the second fastest performer in history in the 100 back, and she swims the number 1 NCAA time in the nation for women. So you're both 100 backstrokers. Obviously, Braden's doing something right there, but I'm sure you've inspired Catherine. What kind of friendship or mentorship do you have anything going on there with her swimming so fast?
I mean, she is just so much fun to train with. I met her for the first time when we went to Naples for the World University Games in 2019. And she was like really goofy then. She still is really goofy. And I think we got along really well in training, because we're both pretty similar minded, where we obviously want to go fast, and we need to, in training, if we're not going fast, then we get upset with ourselves, and sometimes we can get on our own heads. But for the most part, we kind of just make fun of each other. And I think that really helps. It takes a lot of pressure off of the I need to swim fast, and it just kind of shifts it more towards, I want to swim fast because it's more fun like that. So she's a lot of fun to train with. Like I said, super goofy, very, very loud, and just and I mean this in the nicest way, obnoxious. She is just so much fun. I love training with her. And yeah, I mean, Braden does have a lot of good backstrokers, so to have Catherine in that group is really, really cool.
Did you watch? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Go on.
Did you watch her 100 back at the meet this past weekend?
I did.
Yeah. Any tips for her?
Oh,
none that Braden hasn't already said. I mean, yeah, Braden and I are pretty similar. We really like to critique the similar things about my swims and other people's swims. So I'm sure whatever he said, Catherine's already heard.
Yeah. No, I mean, I know as a swimmer, as fellow swimmers, you always, you watch other people's races. You're like, okay, well, she could get her legs in more on the last 25, or she could stand her longer on her start, or whatever. I'm sure that you're thinking those things, but I know
she say that to
this.
you? I'm just curious. Would she tell you? You said she was goofy and obnoxious in the best possible way.
Yeah, I mean, she would probably say the same thing.
Well, Maria, it's Coleman is a post-grad, NCAA champion, and Catherine's she's a sophomore. Right. So it's like a very different dynamic there.
Well, okay. So here's my question for you. You've been just getting better and better, obviously, your whole life. And now for the outsiders, all of the sudden, you're this really important international swimmer. Did something change? Can you tell us what, I guess, let me ask a more open-ended question. What has gone on in the last year, or, really that's helped you get where you are today?
I don't know if it's something that's, just one singular thing, but I think the biggest thing that has helped me in the last 4 years is having Braden as a coach. He's been so much help in and out of the pool. from a mental aspect of, if I have a bad workout, he's pretty good at being able to shut it off outside of the pool and still like trying to talk to me and figuring out why it was bad, because for the most part, he knows that I'm not just going to give up. There has to be something else going on. So I think having Braden as that mentor and coach and just kind of like leader has been really, really good for me. And in the past year, after 2019 NCAAs, when I got second, I didn't successfully defend the title. And, I was in a pretty rough mental state, but Braden and my girlfriend and my family, they were all there to help bring me back up. So I think that's one thing that changed my mindset after not winning the 100 back again. Like I kind of touched on it earlier, like with Catherine, where I just like to have fun in swimming. That's kind of what really shifted it for me. Was I focused so much in 2018-19 to win, and that's all I thought about. I never thought about losing. I never thought I never thought I'm gonna lose. It was always I'm gonna win. And then when I touched and I saw second, even though it was the best time, it was like just gut wrenching, and I did not handle it well. I didn't handle it correctly. So this, my senior year, I really shifted and just really tried to focus on having fun. Even if I was swimming horribly slow in practice, I still tried to smile, and it wasn't like just a forced smile. Like I tried to actually have fun in practice, and Braden definitely helped with that. And one of our volunteer assistants, who's no longer at NC State, Travis Morin, he was a really big part of that too.
So Coleman, that is like a great thing that you're talking about your senior year, because so many people, when they refer to people that got let down by the NCAAs being canceled last year, your name often comes up because you won the title in the 100 back your sophomore year. You got second your junior year, and going into your senior year at ACCs, you hadn't shaved, you weren't tapered, you were still swimming your best ever. You're again on this upward trajectory, and everybody, was pretty much a kind of a done deal. You were going to win the 100 back your senior year, but you didn't get to even go to NCAAs. So how did you handle that?
Similar to 2019, it was just a support system of, when Braden had to tell us, it was miserable for him. He obviously didn't enjoy doing that. He puts just as much into this sport and this team as we do, if not more. So for him to have to deliver that news was, just horrible. But, we still, the night it was canceled, our men's team was, every year we go to Braden's house, the NCAA team, and he gets us dinner, and we just like kind of sit and have a good time. And even though NCAAs was canceled, Braden still had us over at his house, and we were all cracking jokes, and obviously everyone's a little upset, but we were all there for each other. The men's team, the women's team, we were there for them too, because they were going to have a killer NCAAs this year. Or last year, sorry, but their team was so good. So the men's team really felt for them. But yeah, it was really just the cohesion of the men's and women's team that really helped get everyone through it.
I've heard you talking a lot about your relationships. I've heard you talk about your family, your coaches, your teammates, your girlfriend. How do these relationships help you or intersect with your swimming?
Yeah, my girlfriend she's a senior on the team this year. So she's obviously around swimming, and she knows, she's very invested in her swimming and my swimming and the team in general. So, it's interesting, when we go to a meet and she might not swim well, but I swim well, it's kind of like a balance of, making someone feel better, but, she's always there for me. I like to think I'm always there for her. Hopefully she feels the same. But yeah, she's been a really good support system for the past, few years. My family, my dad was my coach for a long time when I was younger, and that wasn't great back then. I wanted to quit when I was 13, but he wouldn't let me. So yeah, that was an interesting dynamic, but he still tries to coach me a little bit. My favorite thing that he does is sometimes he'll like text me something right after a race, and I'll be like, oh yeah, sorry, my cat is.
No, that's okay.
I'll be like,
Bring
oh yeah,
Josh in.
He's at the door now. He'll come back. He'll come back when he's ready. But yeah, my dad will text me something after the race, and I'll just respond with, oh yeah, that's what Braden said. And my dad's just like, yeah, I know. Like he still tries to coach me sometimes. And my mom doesn't know a whole lot about, competitive swimming. She was a professional triathlete.
Wow.
But yeah, she never really did pool swimming. She did a lot of open water stuff. So funny story about my mom watching me swim is that she doesn't. So
why?
She gets too nervous.
Yeah, I can see that.
So she doesn't watch the start because she's afraid we're going to false start. She doesn't watch the 15-meter mark. Like, she won't watch from the start till 15 because she's afraid I'm going to go back, or like go past. She doesn't watch the turns because she's afraid I'm going to miss it or something. So she really doesn't watch any of the race.
She's just like when I watch a scary movie. Don't tell me.
She's there. Oh, that is so funny.
She's always
physically there.
Always there. I think she maybe missed 2-3 meets of my whole college career, but yeah, she'll go back and like watch the ESPN coverage or whatever it is, but she does not watch it live.
Wow.
So besides having great support, what's another aspect of, we always ask what makes a champion? You're a champion. Obviously having the support of the people around you is so important to you, and it's made you who you are. But what other personal qualities do you think you and other champions share?
I hate losing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that ties into my family again, because I'm the youngest of 4 and we all are very competitive. We all hate losing. Board games were very interesting growing up, but yeah, I mean, I just I hate losing. I always want to just get my hand on the wall first, or yeah, I mean, that's really what kind of drives me in practice.
Any other characteristics of champions?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like most people say that, they're super serious, but like I said, I'm super goofy. I think that helps me a lot, where, like I said, I hate losing, but I try to brush it off, if I can, and just try to have as much fun as possible. Yeah, I mean, I don't swim because, I mean, although the ISL is great for living and everything, it's not a huge money sport. So I do it because I really do enjoy swimming. I like getting up and going to practice every day. It's not something where I wake up and I'm like, I gotta drag my butt to practice now. No, I really do enjoy going to practice, whether it's, I don't know if I like putting myself through pain, or if it's, I just like being around other people who, they make me smile in practice. So I think, yeah, just really having fun is something that I try to do better than everybody else.
That's great.
Yeah. So a little different twist on characteristics that champions share. How about routines, rituals, habits that, are unique to Coleman Stewart? What do you do repetitively that, you need to do to be a champion?
I I was talking to my girlfriend about this when I was reading over these potential questions, and she said going to bed early, because when it's like, which she is she goes to bed pretty late for the most part, but I do not. When I'm heading into a big meet, I like to be in bed at 8:30 at the latest.
Wow.
And yeah, so I need to get my sleep. I think that's something that I do that's probably a little bit different, but yeah, other than that, I mean, something that I not cut out, but I cut down on a lot is fast food. I think that's something that I did a lot better this past year. But yeah, diet, just small things like that. I think my mindset is all the little things add up. So whether it's, eating something that I shouldn't, or, not going all out on a 50 all out, I think even if it's like 99%, there's still that 1% that I could be doing better. So yeah.
Those are excellent.
Those are
really
beautiful.
Yeah, those are really good ones. So, what has been the biggest obstacle in your life so far?
That's a pretty tough question, because I have been very fortunate where I haven't had to overcome very many. But I think the biggest one was my sophomore year. Coming back in August, I got a hernia, and so I had to have surgery, and I was out of the water for I was away from the team for what ended up being around 2 months.
Wow.
My first full week of practice was mid-October. And obviously when someone tells you need to have surgery, and it's like in my core area, so being an underwater swimmer, it was kind of like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was like, this is not good. But it really, it just speaks to the support that Braden gave me. He was, there for it 100%. I remember talking to him. He was in Taipei when I learned that I had it for World University Games in 2017. But his first thing was like, all right, we'll come up with a plan, and, we'll get you back. And there was no hesitation there was no worry for him that it wasn't going to still be a great season, where in my mind, I was like, how am I going to catch up to everybody? And we've talked about it a lot, and we think, Braden especially thinks that that's really where my mindset pivoted. Because when I did get back, it was full panic. Like, I'm 2 months behind. I need to catch up to everyone as soon as possible if I want any chance of doing anything this season. So yeah, I think that was probably one of the best swimming season, or like training seasons, just because I was so far behind. And then, I ended up winning NCAAs that year. So that was something that if you had told me that earlier that year, I just wouldn't have believed you. And it was really just Braden helping me overcome that mentally, and being there to make a plan, and everything was just huge for me.
What did you learn from that? Because a lot of swimmers out there think a lot of swimmers out there think that if you miss 2 months at the beginning of the season, you're done. Or athletes, we just did a show on injuries. So what did you learn, Coleman, from that experience?
Obviously it was a physical setback, but what it really taught me was your mind can do so much more than what you think. Like one of my first workouts back, I had done very little aerobic stuff. Like, I was able to do flutter kick and pull, and I could only do it separately leading into like the full-blown workouts that I was able to do again. And one of the first ones back, I was like keeping up with everybody. So I was like, I don't really understand how this is working, because physically this shouldn't be what I'm doing, but mentally I was like, you have no choice. This is what you're doing. And I think another thing similar to that is we have an underwater group workout, which, it's fully focused on underwater kicking and, making sure you can hold your kicks for a whole 100, 200, whatever it is. And I wasn't able to do dolphin kicks yet. So I had to do the whole thing flutter kick. And we do a lot of work with drag socks and using, doing underwater dolphin kicks with drag socks is easier than doing underwater flutter kick with drag socks. And, not being able to do dolphin kicks, I had to do flutter kick. And I was still like doing everything that everyone else was. And I think that was a big mindset change was, I'm still doing this, even though I'm doing flutter kick rather than dolphin kick. And just that mentally opened up a lot of different doors down the road that, I think it was just, a big mental block that I was able to get over through having a hernia.
Are you sure in that surgery, Coleman, that they didn't put a bionic set of abs in you?
That'd be cool.
I'm not certain. I'll have to double check.
So that's interesting. Just, having the fear and also having been out of the water, you're probably really glad to get back to training, but something happened during that time where you realized, wait, my mind is much more powerful than I gave it credit for, and I can do much more than I ever thought I could. I would say that's a characteristic of champions. But one of my questions I had for you at the beginning of the show, I wanted to ask, so swimmers aren't known for being rich athletes professionally, right? Mm-hmm. But once the ISL came around and, as you said, it's not going to make you a billionaire. But did you think, there's something when I make a certain amount of money, there's something I really want to buy. Like when I'm rich from swimming ISL, I'm going to get myself I
really, really want a Jeep Gladiator.
Okay.
The Jeep pickup truck is my dream car. And one of the guys on the team has it. Or one of the pro team on the pro team. And I have to look at it every day, and every day I just think I want that. So that's what I'm going for.
The Jeep Gladiator. I love it.
Maria, isn't that what your husband has?
No, he has a Jeep. It's not a Gladiator. It's the regular kind of the high end Jeep. And he's wanted it, he's 57. He's wanted it his whole life. So he finally just got it for himself. And I was going, what do you want that thing for? But he loves it. He loves it. It's great in the snow. Mm-hmm. And we also have a Farmy 4-wheels. We go through, he said, watch this. I can go through anything.
That's the goal. Good for him.
So do you have a vision board or a goal board, or would you put a picture
question.
of that Jeep on your goal board, or how do you set your
picture
goals?
On your wall? I don't see it on your wall there.
I actually don't. I think this is something that I do differently as well. I don't write my goals down. I really don't have goal times. Because I think that's kind of what hurt me in 2019 was I was so focused on winning and that the end of year goal, where I really just set a goal for myself every day in practice of, are you just do the best that you can do today to make sure that at the end of the year, you're in the best position to do what you need to do, what you want to do. So, obviously with the 100-yard backstroke, I wanted to break the record. That was my goal. I didn't achieve it, but, I didn't beat myself up for it, because I knew that I had done mostly what I could leading up to it. And I don't know. I don't really, I just don't write my goals. Just really, I think I get in my own head too much when I do that. So
what's next for you, Coleman? Like between now and obviously Olympic trials, what's kind of between now and trials?
A lot of long course training. I think that, obviously my underwaters, can help drive short course meters, short course yards. The biggest thing that I have to do is train a lot more of the swimming aspect of the sport of swimming. So a lot of backstroke stuff, a lot of butterfly freestyle, long course training, few meets here and there, but yeah, next big thing is Olympic trials.
And what do you think your best event for trials is going to be? Are you going to go 100 fly as well? I mean, you were NCAA runner up in the 100 fly.
Yeah, I mean, I think the 100 free is pretty stacked. America is really good at 100 free this year. America's really good at backstroke. So yeah, I think 100 fly is probably going to be my best bet. Yeah, I mean, my main goal is to just get on the national team. That's something that I haven't done yet. So yeah.
Awesome.
So what are you looking forward to the most, both in the pool and out of the pool in the next, say, 5 years?
5 years. I would say I'm looking forward to the ISL again. I think that's going to, if it takes off, which I really, really hope it does, I think that is something that swimmers are going to really, really enjoy. So that a year, hopefully, every year, that's something that I can look forward to. Out of the pool, I am very excited to be done with college. I still have one more semester. So once I'm done with that, just fully focus on swimming and training, and then, yeah, see where it goes from there.
That's great. Oh, Kelly, you're muted.
Yeah, I muted myself because a big, huge riding mower is going by my yard right here outside in Florida. Sorry about that. So Coleman, we're trying something new, and it may not work, but if it doesn't, we'll just edit it out. If it's in here, then great. So Maria and I are both health, life, and leadership coaches. We coach a lot of really high-level people, and we would want to present to you, is there anything in your life, like if you just think for a second, what could I use some help with? And we're talking anything from relationships to finances to your health to being a better leader. Is there anything that you could present to us if we gave you a free consult of what in Coleman Stewart's life might you go to a coach for? Is there anything besides Braden? We're not talking about underwaters or, your backstroke, but outside of the pool, if you got a free coaching consultation, would there be anything like, oh yeah, let me talk to those two about that?
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, the one thing I was talking to my girlfriend about this the other day is, this year, although it's brought a lot of great stuff, well, obviously the pandemic has been, that's a lot of horrible stuff. But, personally, other than, NCAA is being taken away and, just the pandemic again, horrible. But, with the ISL and this 100 back, I swam, it's brought a lot of really good stuff but a lot of stuff that I've struggled with is I've been so close in so many different races, in the ISL, I got second and third by less than a tenth so many times. The 100 back, I was 0.13 off the American record. I've just been kind of struggling with that and trying to understand, not why, because I do understand why, but it's just something that has been kind of hitting me recently. And I don't know if you guys can even help with that or not, but I just,
No, I think that's a great question. And I would just, as a coach, we always start with, where you've come and who you are. And that's why you're on the show. You're on the show because you're a huge winner already. But what I think the question you're asking is I feel like I'm in second too much. I'm just so close to to that win, is there something wrong with the way I'm thinking about it? Is that the question?
Yeah. That's a good way to phrase it. Much shorter than mine as well.
I'm going to let you go on that one first, Kelly.
Okay. So this is a great question. So Coleman, I think if you were a 90-pound weakling on the beach, the guy that gets sand kicked in his face, and you decide you're tired of being a wimpy weakling, and you decide, I'm going to the gym, I'm going to get buffed, I'm going to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger after this. But right now you need to put on a lot of muscle. You go to the gym. The first day you come back and you look in the mirror, nothing's there. And then you go for a week, nothing's there. And then you go for even 3 months and there's very little improvement. That's the way life is. It's the sculptor hammering away at one little piece until it finally breaks. So you're, as Maria and I like to say, you need to helicopter up to the 50,000 foot view and look at the intro that we gave you here and look at what you're doing and just know you're about to break that mold. When before you were 14th at NCAA your freshman year, and then you were first, and then you were second, and then you probably would have been first. So it's the long game. So you just have to look at the long game. Right now you're in the short game, but we can't see our hair grow, but it's growing. We can't see, our muscles being built, but they're being built. So I think if you just helicopter up a little bit and also celebrate, that's one of the things that we give to our most people who are successful. They don't stop to celebrate. And while, it's been a second and a third, and I'm just missed the record, those things are coming guaranteed if you just stay on the track and keep your head up. So that would be the 1 minute answer, to just know that you're in it for the long game and that you're deserving, you're doing what you can do, and that it's going to happen.
And I would add to that, just based on what you've told us today in the show, you put a lot of pressure on yourself. You said in NCAA's your junior year, when you looked up and you were second, you were devastated, even though it was the best time for you. And one of the things that you've sort of said continuously as we've talked today is, I'm trying not to put too much pressure on myself because I get in my own way. And I think that's what's happening now. I think that's why you're having the success you're having, is you're really emphasizing, you're saying to yourself, I love swimming. I love practice. I love competing. And I want to do this. And so you're starting to learn to get out of your own way. And I think that that's going to continue to pay off. So I agree with Kelly. You're on the right track. You're getting closer and closer and closer. And one day, you're so young. One day you're going to be that guy. Well, you're already that guy from our perspective, or you wouldn't be on this show. But yeah, you're going to touch, and then it's going to be, how long can I keep this first place position? But it's going to be there.
Yeah. And then I would add another thing, and observing you just for the last, 40 minutes or however long we've been talking, is that you've got to get rid of any negative talk, even though it's true that some backstrokers' legs die on the last 25.
Yeah.
Truly, it should never come into your consciousness, my legs always die on the last 25. That's just, that's not swim coaching.
Or if it comes, just say, go away.
Yeah. Or if it may not happen. There are those golden races, and Maria and I are both, elite athletes from, some races. Yeah. 9 out of 10, maybe the legs die and you're in that painful zone, but maybe that one race at Olympic trials, you're going to feel better on the last 25 meters of that long course 100 than you've ever felt. So don't pre-program, my legs always die on the last 25. They may not. So just no negative talk. And then the one that shocked me was when you said you showed up at the ISL bubble and all these superstars are there. Coleman, you're a superstar.
Yeah.
You just, and it's a combination of, everybody needs to be humble, but you also need to see yourself as
the winner you are.
Can Caleb Dressel beat you in the 100 back? He's never swum it, but maybe, So, I'm just kidding with that. But yeah, you are in your own right a superstar. You got third at the ISL finals with, everybody else in the world. You were right on the tail of the Olympic champion and the world record holder. So
it is really important what you tell yourself. Kelly changed
it's really,
the trajectory of my life by saying, Maria, you're an athlete. I mean, it's a simple thing, but you are a winner. You're on your way up.
Yeah.
You're a winner.
You're more than on your way up. You're
there.
You're up. You're there. So people are looking at you as a celebrity, oh my gosh, like I'm going to get off of this and go, I got to talk to Coleman Stewart. And it's not just about you being an NC Stater like me. Truly, you are one of the hottest names. You got, you have a huge headline this weekend, Swam with like one of the most commented articles. Like people are talking about Coleman Stewart. People are talking about what you're doing. So you need to just see that vision and I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think you guys do a whole lot of visualization at NC State. Do you? Or do you not? Do you do any mental training and visualization?
Not really as a team, but I do visualize a lot every night before I go to bed.
Okay. So that makes, see yourself, leading off the relay at the Olympic Games on the 100 back with Caleb Dressel being your butterflyer. And then, I don't know, we're going to say Cody Miller because he's been on this show doing the breaststroke, see that image because you're of that caliber. And you just, again, I'm not swim coaching you here, but I'm just coaching the mental talk in your head, the mindset. So yeah, I think we've solved this, Maria. What do you think? Well, I guess we have to ask Coleman. Do you feel any better, Coleman?
I do. Thank you very much.
Do you feel like you got any tools to go forward from
Absolutely
what we've just said?
That's the only right answer.
Awesome.
So very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm lying. No, I'm
yeah, beautiful. Yeah. Well, your paycheck's in the mail. We'll get it. We'll get it out there. Awesome. All right. Well, the very last question, Maria, you want to ask it before we do the sprinter?
Yeah, just
out of here.
In case we haven't covered it, is there anything that we haven't asked you that you'd like to just say?
I mean, I think we covered a lot of really good stuff. You guys have helped me, so thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, I am doing a swim camp in Wilmington with Wilmington Swim Academy in December, December 19th and 20th,
okay.
I believe.
So
and
yeah,
I have come on out. I have my own swim camp thing that I'm starting up, Fifth Stroke Swim Camp. So
nice.
Yeah. Where can we find out about
on
that?
Underwaters.
Yeah.
We have an Instagram, Twitter, Fifth Stroke or at Fifth Stroke Camp, and then fifthstrokeswimcamp.com, I believe is the web address, but I can't remember off the top of my head, which is pretty bad.
Yeah, if you let us know, you will put it in the show notes for our listeners. Awesome.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
thank you.
And then we have one quick sprinter round. So the speed round, sprinter round, and all. We're just looking for quick questions here, and then we'll get you out of here because I'm sure you're starving after some practice. Okay, quick answers. Cat or dog?
You better say.
I'm sorry. Really? Oh my gosh. Oh God. Did the cat just leave the room?
He's really a dog. He's a dog person, but he's stuck with a cat, so he's being very careful.
Oh, I know. Wait a minute. The cat's your girlfriend's. That was hilarious.
We've got you. We figured it out.
Okay. All right, Coleman. Even though I'm wearing blue, red or blue for you?
Red.
Of course. Milk chocolate or dark chocolate?
Milk.
Kickboard or no kickboard?
No kickboard.
I knew it. Mountains or beach?
Beach.
Football or baseball?
Football.
iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Morning person or night owl?
Morning.
All right. Maria, you got the rest?
8:30. Yeah. Favorite color? We already know.
Red.
Favorite pizza topping?
Pepperoni.
Favorite vegetable?
Brussels sprouts.
Oh, wow. That's a first.
I love it. I love Brussels sprouts. Only roasted or fried though.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Swim. Your favorite USA swim complex that you've swum in?
What was that? Sorry.
Your favorite swim complex in the US that you've swum in?
Probably San Antonio.
Do you, if you listen to music, is there a song on your pre-race playlist you can tell us about?
I don't really listen to music before a race.
Okay. What's your shoe size?
11.
And we know you have siblings. What you said, you had 3 others, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I have 2 older sisters and an older brother.
Okay. Favorite Star Wars character?
Yoda.
Okay, good. And so this one is, I love this question. Can you cook? But I already know the answer because I listened to an interview when COVID started. You said you had to go home because you didn't know if you could take care of yourself. That cracked me up. I'm sure your parents were delighted. But anyway, I'll just ask, can you cook?
Yeah. I'm learning how to slowly.
Okay.
And I can't even say slowly but surely, but slowly I am.
What word comes to mind when you dive in the water in a race? What's the word that comes to mind first when you dive into the water?
I don't know. The first thing that I think about is my kick count. So I just like details of the race.
The process. I love it.
Yeah. That's
All
great.
right, Coleman, it has been awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. You've been a delight to talk to.
It's now time for the takeaways. Maria, you and I have heard the takeaways are the best part of the show.
That's right, Kelly, because the takeaways are curated information, which is what we give to our clients when we coach them.
If you would like to take your performance to the next level in health, life, or leadership, go to our website and schedule your free 30-minute consultation.
Yes, just click on our coaching page and book there. We're looking forward to bringing out the champion in you.
And now, the takeaways.
So Maria, as you know, I was a fangirl and
yes,
just
you
went
were
crazy. So there was a lot that I would love, to summarize, but we just do our 2 each. So what was your first one?
Oh, well, I knew it a little bit going in, but then he just really emphasized that his support system is so important to him and so necessary for his success. So he talked about his teammates, his girlfriend. It's a lot about his coach, Braden Holloway. He talked about his family a lot. And, I think that's really that, he is obviously the kind of person who needs those people around him to keep him from, getting in his head too much. You said at the beginning of the show, you reminded of us of your nephew, my son. And that is exactly how he is too. It's like, if he spends too much time alone, it's not good for him. So I think the takeaway for me is, for a lot of us, and this would be true for me too, you need to bounce things off of people. You need to have the energy and the positivity that comes from other people, especially if you're a really serious person who is very important to succeed. Those people, that he swims with, that his family, they keep him light. They help him to become the best person he can be and to get out of his own way. So support system, super, super important. What about you?
Yeah,
Kelly?
he gets energy from people.
Yeah.
He loves working at, like he said, he wakes up in the morning, he doesn't mind going. He said,
Right.
I don't know. He said, I don't know if it's that I don't
I like
pain. I just like to be around my teammates. So I think that was a good one. So my first one was, a lot of times we ask these 22, 23-year-old superstars, what obstacles they have, and they just don't have any. Well, having a hernia going into a college season, a hernia is it's a pretty serious thing. And,
especially
at a young
kept him
age,
out of the water for 2 months. That must have been so frustrating.
And also it's your core, like your
right.
hernia is like, that's his thing, is his underwater, is his fifth stroke, his dolphin kicking. So for him to, I think the lesson there for anyone is, he might have thought he called Braden and he said, "Hey, I've got this hernia." And he might have initially thought that it was going to ruin his season. And when we are out in the world and we have these setbacks, 2 months out of something, or, you're unemployed for 2 months, or you've got the COVID and you're down for 2 months. You think, it's never going to get better, but that was actually his best season in his NCAA career. When that same season he won the NCAA title. So I think just the lesson there that I got was, you just got to endure, and he did it. And it doesn't, a setback can set you up for a comeback. I love that. I think somebody said it, but I love Joel Osteen says, a setback is just a setup for a comeback.
That's perfect. Well,
Yeah.
certainly that is exactly how he used it. He came back and had his best NCAAs. And so anyway, yeah.
How about your second one?
Well, I loved what he said at the end. All the little things add up. He goes to bed early. He doesn't eat junk food, or he's trying not to eat junk food. He's putting every little ingredient in, and this is a common theme in champions. We just keep coming back to it. The 24-hour athlete. You can't work out hard and then trash your body later. So, and when he mentioned sleep and nutrition, but this, it's also the mental sides, and having fun and relaxation. All these things do add up to make a champion. So I think that's a great takeaway.
Yes, and I know Braden has ingrained that in him. And interestingly, if you remember, we just interviewed Todd DeSorbo from UVA,
Yes.
who was a 7-year assistant coach and helped coach. Braden's been coaching Coleman, but
Right.
certainly Todd was on deck with Coleman, and
Right.
Todd had the all day long.
Right.
It's all day long.
Right.
And that's exactly what Coleman has, that, every little thing adds up. So I think that was beautiful. Beautiful. My second thing was his visualization, his practice of visualizing. He said he visualizes every night. And though he doesn't set goals, so some of us sit down with a pen and paper and we write goals, Coleman's goals are in his mind. So he's seeing himself achieving a time or setting a record or making a team. So he's seeing those, but he's not formally writing them down. So I love that, hey, if you're not necessarily putting pen to paper or putting a Post-it note on your bathroom mirror, that he said he visualizes every night. And I think that is a great tool for us people that are busy. We may not have time to go to a goal setting workshop or sit down and write out our goals. But if as we're falling asleep every night, just see what is that thing that you really want to come into fruition, closing your eyes and thinking about it. So I really like that one a lot.
I did too. And I think that, when you visualize, you can pair with your visualizations joy and happiness, whereas a written goal, not necessarily. So lying in bed at night or during the day, visualizing, you can see yourself and you can feel the happiness. And I think that's what makes it work. You can feel the emotions around it. So I love that too.
Yes. Wonderful. All right, Maria. Well, another one in the books. Thank you so much. I love you.
I love you too, Kelly. It was a great one.
Maria. Yeah.
All right.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the Champions Mojo podcast with host Kelly Palace and Maria Parker. Champions Mojo is produced by Cabra Media, and a new episode debuts every Tuesday. Subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and leave us a 5-star review. Follow Champions Mojo on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook @Champions Mojo.